Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with a new video and I know it's been forever, don't shoot me, but I don't really have an excuse. I've just been incredibly lazy. I started work last year full time after graduating and every time I come home I'm just like, I just want to sleep. I don't really want to do YouTube. I just found out it was just so long. But anywho, no more excuses. I'm trying to be consistent with everything in life, so let's start. This video is going to be about and I kind of wanted to film this now because I like to film videos when it's kind of like real time, real emotion, real feelings, and I can just kind of be honest with you about things that I go through, just so like if you were to ever stumble across a situation like this, you can better yourself and not make stupid decisions like I have done in the past. I'm trying to be real AF, but not swearing, sorry, God forgive me. I don't want this to be like super preachy, I just want to be honest. I know God has been putting it in my heart to actually make more YouTube videos and I've just been like, I'm lazy, I can't be bothered, I just want to sleep, I just want to lounge around. But then life becomes so repetitive and boring, so I'm just trying to be more proactive in terms of like my purpose in life, and I genuinely believe that I'm here on this earth, you know, amongst other things, but to actually encourage young women out there. I just want to encourage you to live better, have a successful life, one that's full of joy, because I know in this life it's not easy, especially in this day and age where it's so easy to just be influenced by a lot of trash on the internet, you know, where people kind of make it seem okay to just live a life in which you just sleep around and you lie and you steal and you mess with people's emotions, or you just accept trash. So this video is going to be about value. Let's give you obviously this doesn't happen right now, but of this recent, like a lot of emotion has been coming back through a situation in which someone actually just didn't like me back. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but like I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you really like someone and they're just kind of like, not too sure about you. And I just want to talk through, you know, a situation like that, and also how to get out of it and how to just get over it, really, because in life it just continues, you know, the ball keeps on rolling, it keeps on rolling, it doesn't stop for anyone. So this is just a word of encouragement for anyone out there who's going through a situation in which they don't feel very valued, or they're in a situationship, I can't even call it relationship because that is not a relationship, in which there's a guy who you like and they're not sure about you. So let's hit that nail on the thumb. I'm a really private person, so I hate talking about my personal life, but I feel like God has made me become more of an open book, which I don't like, but I will do it anyway because it's for His glory. If there is a situation in which you know, talking to someone and you're kind of wondering like where are things going, you have every right as a female to ask, because number one, we know as females we are very emotional, our emotions are very volatile, so you have every right to kind of ask in a situation whether this is actually going somewhere. Like, it's a normal question. You're not going to just be talking to someone for 100 years. You need to understand where things are going, because if you don't understand, it's just like you're walking endlessly and don't really have a path, or don't really have a map, or don't really know where you're going. It's just really stupid, to be honest. So I feel like as a female, or as anyone, as a male, you have a right to ask in a situation where things are going, because you have a right to have a symmetry of knowledge. If you ever ask someone that, because you know you've started to spend a lot of time together, like you guys are getting on, your vibes in there, and they don't give you an answer in which reciprocates your feelings, right there you should just leave. Because let me tell you, honey, sorry, but if you are ever in a situation where a guy is not really serious about you, let me tell you this, and I will tell it to you for free, he's just not that into you and you just need to get over it. I'm so sorry, but in life there will be others. Other people will love you for who you are, and they will actually see the value in you, and they won't be intimidated by it. Because let me tell you something, value does not beg. Do you see a diamond really needing to be advertised? A diamond is expensive. Why? Because people value. They know that a diamond has to be buried deep within the earth, go through all of this like processing to become beautiful rock that it is. So in that sense, as a female, I feel like when you know your value, and we'll come back to this as well in terms of like how you find your value, you shouldn't have to beg anyone, to convince anyone, to kind of make anyone aware of your value. If they don't get it, guess what? They just don't get it, and that's okay. In life, not everyone will see your value, and that's an opportunity to walk away. Don't ever get in a situation in which you're kind of having to beg someone to see who you are, because quite frankly, you don't want to be in a relationship, you don't want to be married or unequally yoked with someone who doesn't see you for who you are, who you've literally tried so hard to be and become. And if they don't value you, then quite frankly, that's not a conversation, a relationship, a situationship that you should be entertaining. And as I say this to you, I say it to myself. Not that I'm going through this now, but this actually happened probably about, I don't know, like last year. And I had to really deep life, like, I was like, because it isn't quite often that I would go for someone and they wouldn't actually be interested in me. So I just thought, okay, then what do I do here? Do I stick around? Do I kind of see whether they... No, honey, let it go and let God take control. Because I feel like when things like this happen and guys don't show interest, it is a red flag. You should know that this person just quite frankly isn't interested in you, and it's okay. It's not a bad thing if someone's not interested in you. That means someone else will, and they will see your value. You don't need to be ashamed or, you know, feel discredited because someone doesn't see the value in you. Not everyone can recognize who you are. Not everyone can recognize, you know, your anointing. Not everyone can recognize, you know, who you are in Christ. So you just need to accept it and just move on. I know it's not easy, especially when you have a lot of emotion and a lot of just emotional cloudiness in terms of like your situationship or your relationship, but you need to get to a stage where you can comfortably exit and be content. Because in life, if you are not content with your own self, you can then not be in a successful relationship. You need to master contentness within yourself, in which you can pretty much kind of like cut everyone off and still be like, okay, God, you still got me, cool, I'm content. Not that it won't be easy, but just know that that's still a viable option. And I don't mean now go and cut off everyone around your life, but you know, because you still need good people around you, because that's another thing. You know, in life, you need to ensure that the people around you make sense, that they just don't talk all rubbish and they don't fool you with lies and deceit. You need people who are God-fearing and know where they're going in life, people who can mentor you and kind of push you. And with that, it enables you to, when you get into situations like this, you can then look to them for guidance. Obviously, seek God first, but I feel like God places people around you in which they can help you. So if you are in a situation where you feel like this, go to someone who you genuinely look up to, someone, you know, a mentor, someone in church that you're just like, you know, you have your ish together, I need some help. Do not be afraid to open up and ask someone what they believe in this situation, and obviously pray about it, ask God for confirmation, but do not ever isolate yourself and think that you can do it all by yourself, because if that was the case, then God would have made Adam and then that would have been it. He made Adam, then he made Eve, and then Eve, you know, gave birth to Abel, and etc, etc. So I just feel like if a guy does not see your value, it is okay. And guess what? Life goes on. The ball keeps rolling. The clock keeps ticking. There will be another day, the sun will rise. So if a guy doesn't see that in you, keep it moving, because guess what, someone else will, and they will probably appreciate it so much more than they could have ever done. But okay, that deals with the kind of front line. Okay, this guy doesn't like me, kind of what do I do? But oh, he's not paying that much interest in me. Because I feel like in life, a lot of us, you know, make excuses for when people have poor communication and they don't show much interest. But quite frankly, if a guy doesn't pay interest in you, he doesn't like you. Just, I'm so sorry. If you've heard it here first, I am so sorry. I know it's not easy, especially when you're emotionally tied to someone. If he doesn't like you, move on. Because guys are like dogs. What they see, they want. If a guy really knew that you were his wife, or he really wanted to be with you, do you think he would take 2 seconds to really think about that? Would he not pursue you? I'm pretty sure he would pursue you. And quite frankly, if he's not pursuing you and you're the one chasing him down and messaging him, then honey, he's never going to pursue you, because guys, they love challenges. They love the fact that they can work for someone and it's kind of like, oh yes, I've got her, not that, oh, she's in my DMs and she's calling my phone all the time and she just wants me. For a guy that's really unattractive and it's not cute at all. So if you are doing that, please, please, unless God himself is telling you to do that, because obviously I can't disagree with that, just don't do it, because you get to an age in which you can't sit around and just kind of waste your time talking to people so unnecessarily and kind of getting emotionally tied up with who's and what's ifs and potentials. Because quite frankly, if a guy was interested in you, he would pursue you. He wouldn't, you know, make things confusing. He wouldn't tell you one thing one day and tell you this something the other day. You just need to accept life and reality, because quite frankly, it's not always going to be what you want, but you have to kind of understand that God has a perfect plan for us and all things will work out for the greater good for those that love him. So if you love God, and trust yourself and trust your relationship and trust your future marriage in him, and know that it will be fine. Just trust in him, build on your relationship with him, build on your contentment in your singleness, so that when, you know, a man actually recognizes you as bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh, then that would be a great encounter. Because the one thing I prayed for when I was single was that I wanted a guy to literally recognize me as bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh, and I feel like God granted me that desire because I was so obedient to him, in which when he told me to not talk to certain people, I would do it, because I realised that God knows me best. He knows what I want, he knows what I don't want, and he will eventually bring someone to me who will notice me, and then we can start that journey together. Do not fret. This guy that you're probably interested in right now, probably talking to another girl, and guess what? It's fine, because God is probably saving you from a trash relationship anyway. So I would just be content in your current season and work on your relationship with Christ, so that you can grow and that you can be the great person that God has called you to be, instead of like crying and like being emotional about someone that has hurt you or hasn't treated you the way in which you feel like you should. Start something, start YouTube, start a blog, get busy. Don't sit there and in your emotion, your feelings, and feel like, oh, this person doesn't like me, therefore my life stops. No, 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 honey, because on the other side, they're probably living life. So you don't ever stop your life for another person. That is just the worst thing you could probably have ever done. Ultimately, this video is basically trying to hit the nail on the thumb that value doesn't beg. And if someone really wanted you, they would go for you. There shouldn't be any confusion, because a man doesn't confuse. A real man protects. He doesn't confuse and try to violate you. He will never make things kind of difficult, because if he likes you, why wouldn't he show it? If he's not texting you back, then he probably doesn't like you. If he's not calling you back, then he probably doesn't like you. And I'm so sorry, because in this generation it makes it seem like just because someone's doing that, you should continue, and it's like, oh yeah, jump in his DMs 2016 or 2017. Never in my life. Never, never, ever, ever, ever will do that, because that's just cringe. And no guy will really ultimately respect you unless you're going there for that one thing. Then you know, I do not condone that. Just have some integrity and some hold value, because even if a guy doesn't see your value, it doesn't discredit who you are as a person, and it doesn't take away from what another person will see in you. And get your mind off relationships, because relationships are not the be all and end all. There's so much more to life. As a generation, we're so obsessed with, you know, relationships and courting and marriage and who am I going to marry, and my husband this and my husband that, or my wife this. Forget about it. Think about the one thing that never changes, and that is God. And be content in your single season, and you'll be fine. Trust me. I've been through it. I'm 22 now, and I'm going to be 23 in September the 8th. Not that I've been through a whole lot in life, but I feel like I've been through a fair bit, and you know, I've grown, and I've kind of just taken this YouTube thing on my journey of life, and I hope that I can inspire people to truly think about their worth and their value, and realise that they don't have to beg for any relationship, any man, anything, because if a guy really saw the value in you, he would go for it, because it says that when a man finds a good thing, not when a woman jumps into a man's DM and then tries to like his pic. Like, no. If he wants you, he will get you. I guarantee you that. But yeah, I hope you were blessed by this video, and if you have had similar situations in which a guy just treated you bad, or her, because the feelings aren't being reciprocated, then just let me know down below and we can keep this conversation going. If you have any words of advice, put them there down below, because I just want to keep this conversation going in terms of like value and worth, and ensuring that you're actually getting the best out of life and not accepting trash, because a trash guy is someone who doesn't pay you any attention, who doesn't even check for you, who doesn't even make sure you're well. Like, you do not need that stress. Your easiest relationship should be your marriage, should be your courtship. It shouldn't be a situation where like you're constantly having to like climb up and like impress someone. Never, ever, ever. You guys should be content in God and not have to be impressing each other. It should be like it should just be peaceful. It shouldn't be stress. It should just be good and it should be blessed. So if you're having this struggle, I just urge you to go and pray and cry out to God, because He's always listening to you. So open your heart to Him, pray, pour out your heart to Him, and just let Him know how you feel, and then you'll be fine, trust me. If I've been through it and I'm still here to tell the story, I'm sure you will be fine as well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!